Hi, my name is Daniel Ross. I'm the founder of Remote Sober Support Network. Super excited to have Kanan Oliver here today on our podcast. Kanan's a very, very dear friend, brother in recovery, someone I love and care about. He's the president of Found Recovery. He's also the founder of Found Recovery. Those are two words that probably shouldn't be together, but they are today. And just excited to have you on to share your personal story in recovery, because I know you have a beautiful story in your own personal journey in recovery and how you got sober, and now how you're giving it back through what you're doing with your IOP, Found Recovery. So just really grateful that you came on today and excited to just be here with you.
Thank you, Daniel. We're excited to be here. I'm excited to be here. The whole team was excited about this, and the collaboration we have between RSSN and Found has been extremely impactful. So thank you for the opportunity to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, maybe we can just get it started right now with you just telling us a little bit about your program, where you're located, how the program works. Give a little insight to our viewers.
Absolutely. So yeah, Found Recovery is an intensive outpatient program, or IOP as it's commonly referred to. We're a day counseling center, essentially specializing in services for substance use disorder and other co-occurring diagnoses. But essentially, we are a program where people come together. We like to say we're a collective of different men and women that bring their personal expertise and their story and their strengths. And we help people get better, live better, more fulfilling, productive, meaningful, impactful lives. Most participants show up at 9 a.m. and conclude around 4. In that time, we have therapy. We have a psychiatrist. We have a team of MDs for more medical-oriented conditions. But ultimately, we are a team of people that focus on, well, we always say when someone comes in, we hope you get a few things. First of all, that you build a firm foundation for your recovery, first and foremost. But that includes different things. So emotional regulation is huge. We see a lot of people today that do not possess the skills for proper emotional regulation. So they don't have the resilience in which is required, or which will serve them in life. So we always want to raise the threshold of emotional regulation, specifically with stress resilience and being able to walk through challenges. We always say challenges are opportunities for growth. And it doesn't mean there's something wrong with that. It's just an indicator that we personally can benchmark that and say, okay, this is somewhere that I can grow. If I overcome this and I push my benchmark a little bit, I'm going to be more capable to deal with life. So emotional regulation is huge. Effective communication is also a focal point. We want people that can effectively communicate with the world, their needs, how they present themselves, and those go hand in hand. Because if you're not in a stable emotional state, effective communication becomes very difficult. So those two go hand in hand. We're also big on ownership and autonomy, meaning we don't want people to come here and be, victims of the learned helplessness that can exist in this world. Meaning people come in, we want to support them and provide scaffolding for them to build their house, their metaphoric house, which is their life. But we don't want to do it for them. We don't want to just completely hold them up. People will do amazing in treatment. As you know, people can do amazing, but really we need to bridge the gap. So you get the skills here. We work on it here. We build the foundation here. You do it at home. You do it at your sober living. You do it in the rooms of AA, in the meetings of RSSN. But ultimately, you got to do it on your own. This is your life. And so we encourage people ownership, take control of their own life.
That's amazing. I appreciate you sharing all that. So just for our viewers, the program, how long is the program? What is the duration of the program? Is it different for everybody, or that comes in? It's you mentioned also it sounds like it's a co-ed program as well.
Yeah, it's co-ed. So I guess I should back up that PHP, IOP, OP, they're all ASAM designated levels of care. One of the precursors to meet criteria.
Can you real quick, POP, PHP, all that, can you break that down just so the viewers understand what those mean?
Yeah, it's essentially outpatient. So there's just to put it in two basic categories. There's inpatient and outpatient. Inpatient, generally the first level of care would be detox, right? Physical symptomology that exists that prevents people from moving forward. This is generally a medically focused level of care. So we deal with precipitated withdrawals and or delirium tremens and or any other physical symptomology that may result as or may exist as a result of dependency. So that's the first thing. People go from active use to detox. Detox usually lasts about 7 to 10 days. Then they'll go to another inpatient level of care, which is residential, usually about 20 days. The total period of time for inpatient is roughly 30. So people usually just think of treatment, inpatient treatment. You see the commercials, but it's really broken up into two levels of care, detox and then residential. Once people finish that, or they've stabilized themselves on their own, they meet criteria for our program. So that's when they come in. Most people have a little bit of time under their belt. They're somewhat stable compared to the early days, that first week. And
so you would say most of your clients would come from a treatment center, an inpatient treatment center, and then come to you. Does that, I know that some of them, because I know a little bit about your program, that some of them are living in sober living, and then they come to an IOP, which is yours for the during the day. Is that correct?
Yeah. Transitional living, supportive living, sober living, all common names, but most do. Some people live at home. Some people are local. So usually the people living at home are local. And then the people in supportive living are either local and looking for the added accountability. Because remember, this is people come in, they're still in the early days. So we provide services from 9 to 4, and then they'll go back to a sober living.
Can you go through some of those services that you provide from 9 to 4 and what some of those entail?
Yeah. So
I know you guys also do some like outside activity as well, right?
Yeah. So I should mention, just for the viewer, for a little bit of education on what this looks like. So we're certified from the Department of Healthcare Services, which is a branch of the state of California. They kind of regulate centers like Found. And so I often tell families, listen, we all are playing within the same rule book. So any place that's a certified IOP in the state of California, they have a certain standard of care that they are to provide, which insurance companies will acknowledge. That's another thing. We do take insurance. We do private pay, but we take insurance. And so in order to do that, there's certain criteria that we need to fulfill. But how we specifically do it here at Found is, we do walk and talk therapy. That's one thing that people really like. So we take the therapy out of the fluorescent lighting, out of the building, and we can do it. There's studies that we are a part of actually right now that can indicate that there's added benefit to that. I mean, even just going for a walk, it gets you outside. It can get the oxygen going through your blood. Even just the idea of objects moving past you when you feel stuck, we generally say this is a coping mechanism. You feel stuck, you feel depressed, literally go for a 5-minute walk, and it can help you get out of that, of watching life go past you. Can give you a subconscious belief that you're moving forward. But walk and talk therapy, we're big on just being in sunlight, nutrition, working out, proper sleep. So sleep cycles are generally they can be dysregulated when people come in. A lot of substance use happens at night, so people's circadian rhythm needs some reacclimation to a more normal sleep cycle. So we're big on that. And these are some of the key things that we focus on. But generally, there's therapy, there's groups, all different groups. Like I said, emotional regulation, effective communication, coping mechanisms, family systems. So how to just take ownership, how to mend relationships within a family structure, breath works, meditation, psychoed. So kind of like the brain pathway and the different neurological changes and adaptations that can happen due to substance use, and how we can take certain measures to re-regulate that. We also partner actually with a TMS. So it's kind of a new emerging modality, transcranial magnetic stimulation. So we have a great partnership with a provider that's in the same building as us. And that's a good overall summary.
Wow. That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
a lot of good information, and I know you have a great program over there. Can you talk a little bit about your staff and your team and what they're about and how you guys work together to help all of your clients?
Yeah. You know what? And one thing I didn't mention was the community and the culture, the atmosphere that we have here. We honestly think it's one of the most important things. You can fill in the blanks. Like you can have a therapist, a psychologist, psychiatrist, a group counselor, a case manager. You can have all these people, but do they work in a cohesive way? And do they share the same value system and the same approach? Obviously, we have diversity in the approach and the different models that can be taken, the different approaches that can be taken. But I would say one thing that I'm grateful to be a part of is the culture here. And so we knew when we started Found that this was a labor of love. I've been in the field for 10 years. I was consulting for different startups, doing the initial paperwork and startup work. Very easy for me. But we always say the culture here is the secret sauce. It's what makes us different. And people pick up on that. Like we always say, we talk about our staff meetings. If we have conflict amongst ourselves as coworkers, then we're not living we're not using the tools that we're talking about all day, because we're suggesting that to people all day, that as soon as there's conflict, you should address it in a meaningful, constructive, ownership oriented way. So that's one thing, is we have to live it. But the people pick up on that. The participants that are here, they can feel when the energy's off and that there's some sort of conflict. So it's really important. We intentionally started with a small team, and we wanted our culture to draw people to us. And so that's where we're at. We've been extremely fortunate in the people that have wanted to participate and be a part of the family here at Found. And so that is how we've that's how we've gotten to where we're at today in terms of our team.
Wow, that's great. It sounds like you really have an incredible staff and team over there that are passionate and caring and really into what they're doing. I mean, as far as helping someone else, I mean, I know that it's so important in my recovery and to really be, convicted about helping someone else. And that has to be, at the forefront of really being there for someone else. And I feel that with what you guys do over at Found. And I know that as, RSSN and Remote Sober Support Network, that we love, partnering with you guys and being a part of your program. And we feel like we are able to provide an aftercare solution for the clients that you have over at Found. And it's just, I would like you to maybe just touch on how RSSN and Found work together and how that works for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's well known. People, like I said before, people can do well. This is where you hear people going to 15, 20 episodes of recidivism, different treatment centers. They'll do well while they're there, and they don't have the stable foundation yet outside, right? And so RSSN helps bridge that gap and bridges that. It's a real asset for us here at Found, other providers that are doing similar work to us, because it provides the accountability. And I should mention, we still encourage people to go to AA, Refuge, Celebrate, Smart, Life, whatever it is, but really get involved in a community of their peers where they can feel supported and they have accountability and they have structure and they have guidance. But one thing that's unique about our relationship with RSSN is it's just a more refined approach, right? So the coaches lead the meetings. The coaches can become familiar with I guess I should say the participants here at Found can become familiar with the coaches because they'll be attending meetings while they're here, and then they continue the meetings once they leave. It's well known that generally on any discharge plan, it'll give a suggestion. You go to AA meetings once you get home, and people struggle with that. They go to one meeting and it's.
Well, I think can we touch on that? Because I think that's super important, is that you can do really well in a program, any program, 30, 60, 90-day program, long-term program. But what happens when you leave? You have all that incredible support in the program. Let's say you do really well, depending on what program, if you're working steps, you have a sponsor, whatever program you're in, but you do really well. And then once you complete that program and once you're ready to transition into that next, part of your journey, where do you find that support and how do you get that support? And it's so easy to give someone an aftercare program and say, this is what you need to do. This is what if you want to stay sober and you want to be successful in your recovery, these are the meetings you should go to. These are all the resources you have. And what we're doing at RSSN and why we partner with Found and IOPs like yourself, it's because we want to get to know the individuals in your program and build relationships so they are familiar with another support system that is connected to what you're doing there. And so then once they leave there, they have this remote support network that they can tap into, and that there's daily meetings, there's one-on-one coaching, and then there's an online community. But what we've already started with you guys has been amazing. I mean, when we're in the daily meetings and then you have Found on there in the meetings and we're all together and we're, there's different topics that we're discussing, but the most important thing is what you touched on, is that we're building community, we're building relationships, because what's helped me in my recovery is having relationships and having community and having a solid foundation that I can build off of, but then also interacting with other alcoholics and addicts throughout my day. And so can you kind of maybe talk about how that, is an important part of what you guys are doing with Found?
Yeah. And here's an example of it, actually. And going back to what I said, how we support autonomy and ownership and people like basically having agency in their experience in life, is that we're programming most of the day, right? So as I mentioned before, it's a pretty structured day around here, but we put the nooner on Monday and Wednesdays. We put the nooner on, and that's voluntary. I mean, that's just on a lunch break. So we put it on the conference room. And so we provide the tool, but we don't force people to engage in it. We're observing to see who naturally kind of engages with it. And just to speak on the value of RSSN is that most of the individuals love it. And they're actually asking for, is the meeting coming on today? And so it's not something where we have to, kind of persuade and encourage people to go in, but we put them on, and next thing you know, most of the individuals are in there because they have built a relationship with RSSN. And anytime the coach comes on, they know everybody's name. There's rapport, and there's a level of connection that exists.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I know we've really enjoyed it, and it's really been an incredible experience so far. And the best thing is that, we just want to ensure that, there is support once someone leaves a program like yours, and once they transition out, there's another level of support for them and that they feel comfortable, because so many people will leave a program and it's intimidating. I mean, it's intimidating to go to a meeting. Sometimes you have this, this great plan or outlook of what that looks like. But then once you get into your busy lives and you start working again and you move back home, if that's what you're going to do, there's a lot of the triggers, and there's a lot of the old environment. And it's just, sometimes it's really hard to get to set up a support system. And it's just not that easy. So I'm really excited that, we've partnered with you guys. And I know that, you personally have an incredible story in recovery, and your journey has been, I mean, I've been a part of that journey with you. And can you touch on that and what you went through in your own personal recovery?
Yeah, I mean, that's an open-ended question. I don't know if you wanted to get specific, but I mean, I can say that is why this exists, why Found exists, why I do this, is because of the impact that it made on my life and the different experience that I had on my life. I generally say I feel like I've lived two versions of life. And the one I'm living now is obviously preferred to the other one. And it's just been incredibly my personal journey has been incredibly impactful on what I do now and my life and my family's life. And fortunately now 11 years in, many other people's lives as well.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Well, I'm truly happy that you're a part of my life, and it's been incredible watching you grow and change. And I'm so excited for what you're doing with Found, and how many lives you're helping and changing. And I'm so glad that, RSSN gets to be a small part of that and to join in on what you're doing and help support that. And is there anything else that you would want to add to what you're doing, or how you're doing it, or where you're located, or anything else about Found that kind of stands out, that you would like to touch on before we close?
Sure. I can let people know. You can find us on all social media. Our recovery is foundrecovery.org. Our website is foundrecovery.org. You can find the website there and get in touch with one of our admissions personnel. We're located in Agoura, California, which is so fortunate. We have access to some beautiful resources out here. And one thing that we didn't touch on was the family side of RSSN and the amazing family side. So here's another thing, is that we're focusing on the individuals that are here with us in our care. But RSSN provides, we do too. We have family therapy, family dynamics. We do family therapy once a week with any of the participants that want to go ahead with that. But the family side of RSSN has been really impactful. I would say actually the recovery oriented meetings are somewhat available. Like I just listed 6 of them. And especially with today's acceptance of it. I mean, even 10 years ago, the idea of being in recovery was, I think there was a level of social bias that existed against it. And now it's almost like socially encouraged to be taking care of yourself, eating right, sleeping right, going to therapy if that's what you want, having support system, ultimately working on being a better human. I mean, it's been awesome to see that and see all these different opportunities develop to engage in that, but there aren't so many on the family side. And so RSSN has been incredibly helpful for the individuals' families, so that they can have their what's generally called parallel process, their own journey, journey of self-discovery and working on, I mean, here's the thing, dysregulation will generally always exist within a family system, within a relationship, within a dynamic. When there's substance use is one major example, but when there's something major happening, it can cause dysregulation. There's a response to that within the family system. So this is the family. They're responding to the dysregulation. Well, when the dysregulation stops, the family will generally continue living on with these no longer needed yet acquired in the past coping mechanisms, which is in their dysregulation in their own way. And so we strongly support the parallel process. We strongly encourage families to work their own program, to take ownership of their side and to hopefully gain some education and some ideas on how they can best go forward. And RSSN has really provided that in a meaningful way. So I just wanted to mention that because I feel like there's value that is unique and that has been impactful for us.
Yeah, I know that there has been someone in your program and then also family members that have participated on RSSN. And it's so nice that they're on the same network, so that they're connected in that way. And I know that's been a really good experience so far for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're so grateful for it. It's been amazing.
Yeah. No, the family side is huge. I mean, the family side is definitely, it kind of is brushed aside sometimes. And it's so important that the families get that opportunity to work on themselves, and also have, I know we have 2 daily meetings on RSSN that the families can join in on and be a part of. And we have incredible coaches that facilitate those meetings on RSSN as well, that have either gone through the journey or have been certified, and just really are really incredible coaches that are able to help on that side. And that there's just, it's so nice when because when you're in recovery, I mean, as we both know, we're working on ourselves, and we're changing, hopefully. And when we're changing, that doesn't mean the family's changing. And also the family, it helps when they're somewhat educated or informed about what we're going through, and so that that lines up with the addict and alcoholic that's getting help. So I think it's such an important part that sometimes gets missed, and I think it's incredible that you guys are doing it and that we're doing it together. So but yeah, it's been a really good journey, and I'm so happy that we got to spend this time together today too, and talk about Found. And I just think it's amazing what you guys are doing over there, and we fully support you, and we want to be behind you all the way. And we just look forward to what's next and who we can help next, because it's just about us being able to help someone change their life, and knowing that we were given this gift of recovery, and someone else should be given the same gift. So I absolutely love my recovery, and I'm grateful for what I've gone through and what it's given to me in my life. And I'm just really happy that, that I get to just be here with you today and share this with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We didn't really get to explore it a lot, but yeah, we've had impact on each other. And so I love you a ton, and I appreciate you and all the impact you've had on my life. So thanks for the opportunity, and I look forward to the next one that we get.
Absolutely. Well, Thanks for being on the podcast today. And I think that's the end of our show today, and we'll be signing off. So thanks, Kanan.
Thank you. Appreciate it.